Welcome to the Pearls of Wisdom podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Hello, everyone. This is Guy with Jewelry Store Marketers, and this is another episode of the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry podcast. And I am here today. We got a great interview, but introducing my lovely co-host, Elisa Dillon from Southern Jewelry News. There she is, always a fan favorite among everyone in the industry. And today we have a couple that was featured in a Southern Jewelry News article last October. We got Brooke and Chase Brinson of Ed and Ethel's Fine Jewelry here with us. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
Yeah, we're excited. Thank you for having us.
Yes, absolutely. The jewelry industry is such an old industry, meaning, we have stores that have been around for years and generations. And you hear of jewelry stores on their second or third generation. And I don't think we hear it too often of, new jewelry stores popping up. But that's what you guys did.
Yeah, that's very true. It's so funny. We just a couple weeks ago, we were at IJO's business college, and we were by far the youngest store there. There was one store that was 107 years old. So you hear all of these, our store has been around 3 and 4 generations, and Brooke and I are sitting here like, we're first generation. We're bootstrapping it, and we just love the industry.
Yeah, we do.
Fantastic. Could you tell us about your store? Right. I was curious about Ed and Ethel's, and I didn't see it in the article. So could you tell us about your store and where it is?
Yeah, absolutely. So we opened September 2020, and it was just Chase and I for the longest time until November. My mom joined us full time. So now there is 3 of us. And we named the store Ed and Ethel's. We wanted to honor a couple that really represented love to us in all forms. They were my grandparents, but didn't have to be, weren't related to us, and chose to be our grandparents. And they were married for almost 70 years. So we decided to honor them in that. And I'm trying to think what else to tell you.
Well, you guys are out of
1,400 square feet, a slice of paradise here in Christiansburg.
Yeah, I was going to say you're located in Christiansburg, Virginia, which is a beautiful place, and the picture that is in the article of Ed and Ethel, it's just beautiful. And I know that you keep that picture at the store, don't y'all?
We do.
Yes.
We do.
It is one of the first things you see when you walk in.
That is a gorgeous picture. That is like a really, really a nice picture of both of them. Love how it fades out to the background. So amazing. That's really awesome. And it looks like you guys started or met in the jewelry industry at a Kay's Jewelers. And what was it about the jewelry industry that you said, okay, let's open our own? What was it about it?
Man.
I mean, I've always wanted to be self-employed and work for myself and control my destiny. But Brooke and I met when we were both working for Kay. That's how we met.
Yeah. And I definitely wasn't an entrepreneur minded person, but Chase was, and that was his big dream. And we just really loved the industry. We both got into it, not because we knew things about jewelry and, like that we had ever known we wanted to do that. I actually did. My mom and one of my grandmothers, they were in the industry, working for, majors. And I got into it part-time in college. Actually, I called my mom one day and I said, hey, I need some money to do who knows what, probably go to the movies, do something fun. And she said, how about a job so you can earn that money? So I was a little sad, but I said, okay, I'll do it. So that's how I got into it. And Chase was recruited.
I was in the car industry for a little bit before I got into the jewelry business, and got recruited basically with, why don't you give this a shot? And I was like, sure, why not? I was young.
Yeah. And then we just fell in love with it. We definitely realized, I think even before we knew each other, we realized individually that this was the industry for us. It was where we were meant to be. Having no idea at that time, of course, that this is where we would end up owning our own store, which is awesome.
That's great. What is it? So why is the jewelry industry so cool? What is it about the industry? Why do you love selling diamonds and gold to people? What is it?
It's and I'm not a very emotional guy, but it's the emotional connection that you have with a complete stranger that you can create in a matter of minutes.
Wow.
Over a piece of jewelry, whether it's something that was passed down to them and they want to have it restored, or you sold the engagement ring to the young man or young lady who comes in, and you see them when they bring their significant other back in and they're just so happy, and you get to celebrate some of the greatest moments in people's lives. That is a portion that I really like. But I also, in the memorial jewelry side of our business, which isn't always, obviously it's not happy, but you get to help someone feel better. It makes grieving a little easier.
Right.
I love that. I think that's the number one reason why anybody should, why we stay in the industry so long is because of the connection, particularly retailers or, that trust. You're there for all the major moments. What a great job to have as a jeweler, to be there for all of the great moments in a family's life. That's what it's about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. You opened a store when exactly?
September of
September 2020. So you're going on 3
right.
years.
Right in the middle of a pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was May of 2020 when we first even really thought of doing this now. This was something we talked about. We thought we'll have careers and we'll be retired and then we'll do this. But yeah, it was May when we were furloughed, of course, due to the pandemic. And yeah, actually, Chase loves to say that, we had a little bit of liquid courage one night. We kind of talked about it and we thought, that's crazy. And then one night we had a little bit of vodka and we thought, you know what? Who cares? Let's do it.
What's the worst thing that could happen? We were losing our jobs anyway.
Right.
So what's the worst thing that could happen?
Love that.
In the same position without a job.
Yeah. So we got to work. We definitely did not really know where to start. When I look back on it, it freaks me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just took it day by day.
What has been
you took the risk and you ran with it and it paid off.
Definitely.
You got the reward.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great.
What has been most challenging so far in the last almost 3 years?
The administrative side of the business that you never realize is there. We both know how to sell jewelry. That is not a problem. We know how to connect with the consumer. Not an issue. The issue we really did not know that was even an issue when we started was, how do you manage the back end of your business? How do you make sure you maintain whatever your target gross profit is? How do you setting all of those things up to make sure it's not just short term? Oh yeah, we're here. We did. We've done well for 2 or 3 years, but how do we get to where we are, that 107-year brand, local brand? How do we get there? Those are the things that we did not expect. Inventory management is another one. All of the marketing. We come from majors where they have hundreds of millions of dollars set aside to market, where we have hundreds of dollars to market. Or especially when we first started. So it was all of those things. That was the difficult part that we did not expect.
Right. It is, behind all the, I would say, glitz and glamour and sparkle, like diamonds and gold and things. There's a real business back there that you have to run.
There is. It's not all fun and games.
There's invoices. You got to pay people. You got to take care of things. You got to lock the door. You got to lock that case. You got to keep safe. There's all this stuff. How did you learn all of that?
Well, part of it was just hard lessons learned the hard way. Something falls through the cracks, or whatever the case may be. The other part, early on, so in March of 2021, we joined Bill Warren's Ultimate Jewelers Mastermind Group. Yes. That is really when we felt we got our feet underneath of us and we really started running downhill, it felt like, especially after we were there. So about September of 21, after our first full year, that made a big difference in our business.
And that was really, I would say, in combination with Bill and with the Ultimate Jewelers Mastermind Group and attending the Atlanta Jewelry Show that spring, which was our first jewelry show, that was when we started to really realize how incredible the independent side of this industry is. And that if you just immerse yourself in it and you put yourself out there and you get to know people, that everybody is like a huge family. They all want to help you. They all want each other to be successful. And that's like our key to success thus far. It is not us. It is just the people that we have become close with and listened to, and that have been willing to teach us lots of incredible things.
Right. And you mentioned IJO, so you joined RJO, or you don't just join, you apply, and you
your IJO. I think it was IJO.
Oh, IJO.
IJO. Are you I or R or both?
You're I, yes. Now, RJO, if you're listening, remember we want to get into you too very badly, but we're currently blocked. But that's okay.
Ooh, shout out,
Sarah.
RJO.
But we love.
You know you're wrong.
You never know.
I do it. But we love IJO. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
We love Jeff and Penny and Mary and oh my Lord, all of them. We actually just attended the IJO Business College, which is a huge opportunity for retailers that are a part of IJO. And that was really eye-opening for us and made a lot of deep connections in just a couple of days.
So as new jewelers, so you did a lot of education, the courses and joining groups and so forth. What's been the biggest help for you in terms of, is it Bill Warren's group or IJO, all of the above? What's been...
I think it's, there's numerous different things. It'd be hard. I definitely, if someone said you have to pick
it's Southern Jewelry News, right? All the great articles.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jewelry store, marketing, articles, everything.
Right.
But if we had to pick absolutely one thing, I would say it's Bill.
Yeah.
Bill in the group for sure. But it's, for the success, you have to, at least this is the way I view it, you have to take bits and pieces from everyone that you learn something from. You take bits and pieces and you make it your own.
That's right.
And then it's way more successful when it feels authentic in your market and it feels comfortable to you and you're able to make it native. I think that's the new term that when you're doing social, it has to be native. So you have to
organic.
Make all these things native to your brand.
Organic,
exactly.
Making everything happen organically.
Exactly. So it looks like good transition in talking about organic and how and growing, because you didn't have that big marketing budget, but you did some creative things to get some people through the door. What were some of those things that you did that worked?
So when we first, oh man, that's such a tough question to really answer, because we didn't really do much. We did some radio advertising when we first opened, spent a bundle of money on that. It ended up striking out.
Oh no. At first
we weren't very smart. That was one of the hard lessons learned by any stretch. That was a bad one. So then really, I think we started getting creative with social. We did some giveaways. We did things of that nature.
I think a couple really big things. And again, a lot of this, like with the event marketing, we learned a lot of this in the Ultimate Jeweler Mastermind group from Bill, and have done so many things that we've learned from that group. And one thing we talked about in the Southern Jewelry News article was the whiskey tastings that we've done. Those have been so fun and have brought in lots of people. And it's a huge talking point. Even people that didn't come to that event or probably would never come, just not their cup of tea, are really intrigued by the fact that we're doing that at all. And we've been really blessed because the business we partner with for that, they also opened during the pandemic. So new business, great people. So that's been a great relationship.
Some of the other thing, we do ladies' nights, and those things are very they're not very expensive. You think for basically, let's call it $500 to $1,000, you can get 20 people in your store for 2 hours. I mean, that's a fairly captive audience. And now with the addition of permanent bracelets, we'll do parties and things like that where we're putting the event on, but we're generating so much revenue from these permanent bracelets that it's a great thing. We're marketing, but we're marketing for free by having these events.
So you're doing mostly like social media, word of mouth type thing. I mean, social media is where you're putting everything out.
Oh, I think it froze.
Yeah, it did.
Oh, okay.
Take two.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
So is it social media that you're kind of focusing on when it comes to marketing?
Well, so Brooke does our marketing, but I have like the layman's term answer for this. So social media is a big deal for us. Yeah. Also, we've added quite a bit of radio. Radio has done really well for us. I think we're on 5 stations now.
We are. We've done a little bit of TV, not your standard TV though. We've done streaming. So streaming services, we've done that.
We do direct mail several times a year. That usually does really well for us around the holidays.
Yeah. But, the biggest thing, honestly, and this rivals social media almost to me. So social media definitely is the king, which I feel like, I'm sure all of us in the jewelry industry or retailers in general would agree with. But the other really big thing that we have done, we didn't even know how big it was when we started doing it, has been really immersing ourselves in the business community. So we are really involved with our local chamber of commerce. We're in several business networking groups, and that has been huge, huge driver of business.
And for me, I didn't grow up in this area, so I didn't know anyone. So the best way for me to get to know people was I go to networking events, and I go to a networking group that meets every Thursday from 4 to 5. That's how we have really gotten to immerse ourselves and become so well known in the area.
And we were even just talking about this the other day. I feel like a reason that, maybe a lot of jewelers don't really immerse themselves in that is because, of course, we don't sell hot dogs, right? We sell diamonds. So, we don't go out and meet somebody and we're, necessarily going to immediately sell them something or numerous things. But, so it's a time commitment. And you've got to realize that it takes that time to build those relationships with your community. But what we found is once you do that, because we do sell diamonds and gold, it takes one sale for all that time to have really paid off. And so that's the biggest thing I would say to anybody, whether a new business, whether an old business, if you don't do that, I think you could drastically grow your revenue by getting involved locally.
Is that what you did with the whiskey tasting? You mentioned that was is this a neighbor or someone that you knew that you collaborated with?
So funny enough, how we met them was from a networking group with someone else. Yep. They were like, man, we're looking for something we could do for a guys' night at the store around Christmas time. And this person got us connected with them. We sat down, we had a phone conversation of, hey, this is what we're looking to do. You want to partner with us? Yada, yada, yada. And that one thing led to another. And now we do at least one whiskey tasting a year. Most of the time too.
Yeah.
That's great.
And now they'll come as couples since it's open for both men and women, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We did at first. We just did guys, and then the ladies were like upset.
They were super upset.
And
we had one lady
were like,
come
"Oh
in.
no, we will not make that mistake."
She looked at me like I had done something very wrong to her. She said, "Why didn't you have any whiskey for me? I like whiskey." I'm like, "I've got leftovers. Like I'll pour you a glass, no problem."
Yeah,
she was very upset with me. She was like leaving whiskey just for men. I drink whiskey. Okay.
So the whiskey tasting will continue. I mean, you guys could expand on that. If it was a success, you'll still do it. And you could have a tequila testing, rum. I mean, it's all, Got lots of
I know.
I think
ideas.
we had our last one we did in right around Brooke's birthday last year. I think we had 70 people
Wow.
attend, right around
Yeah.
70.
Yeah.
Did you just sell
But
a
our
lot
little
too? I
14
mean, obviously you want to make some sales. Are these guys,
Yeah, so we did find the co-ed night, we don't sell as much as just the guys' night or just a ladies' night, but we have much bigger residual sales.
Gotcha.
So we don't sell as much at the time. Some, we're still making some sales, but
the residual business from that though, because we'll collect a wish list and things of that nature, and the residual business is tenfold what a standard ladies or guys night is. It doesn't compare. So I don't know. Obviously, we'll still have ladies nights and guys nights, but for those, I think it's more of a casual. There won't be a tasting, but for the actual tasting, those will definitely be co-ed from here on out. They are huge, and the business will drag out. It'll sometimes encompass 90 days, if not longer. And it just, you keep seeing that residual coming back from that event.
Right.
That's fantastic.
How do you keep up or stay connected with your customers? I mean, do you send out emailers? Do you give them calls? Do you send anniversary cards? Is there anything that you guys do? Anything organic stuff like that?
Well, we have a lot of growth there to execute. We have a plan. We're actively putting it in place. So our plan is to start sending anniversary and birthday cards every month. We have heard from so many other jewelers that do that and the incredible success. So that is something we're starting this summer. We've decided to start doing on the regular.
We're relatively new Edge users. We just
Yes.
started using the Edge in December of last year.
Yes.
So we've just now started using that. We're compiling all of our information, our lists and things like that. So it'll be one of those things that will take some time to grow, but we definitely see the benefit to doing it. Not to say that we weren't before. Like if, Mr. Jones, our number one customer, we're like, we know his wife's birthday is this. We know the anniversary is here. All right, we need to send a text 2 weeks in advance, get them in the store. Not to say that we don't do those things, but we don't do them on as large or broad of a scale as we probably should.
Yeah, absolutely. And we use Client Book, along with Edge. We love Client Book. And now that we've, been able to text our customers just love it so much. I can't even imagine not doing that, because we just, constantly are texting them.
Right.
That's fantastic.
Right.
Our customers, we have caught our customers, they will text us like different, like if something's going on in pop culture, like the Murdoch murder trials. Brooke, my lovely wife, we were going to a show. She made a stop in Walterboro at the courthouse.
Yeah.
And we had
true crime.
We told a customer that this may happen. She legitimately texted us through Client Book, texted, say, hey, did you guys make it down to the trial? And we were sending her pictures from there. I mean, it's strange to, have that level of relationship with your customers.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But that's what it's about. I mean, the trust and the friendships that you build with these people that you're selling to. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have any fun and cool events coming up?
Yeah, so we have a Mother's Day event, and that is really, truly just about celebrating the moms of our community. So we're going to have snacks and drinks. We're going to have some games. We are hopefully going to have a massage therapist doing some kind of 5-minute hand massages. And every mom gets to pick out a free piece of jewelry, which it kind of sounds crazy. We've done a variation of this before. We haven't done where they get to pick out something of a selection of our choosing, but we have a very good friend, Rhonda Evans, has a store in
Newport, Tennessee.
Yep, Newport, Tennessee, and this is her idea, this version, and she says it's incredible. The results that she gets, the sales that she gets that day, along with the customer loyalty and residual sales. So we're excited to see how that goes.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's fantastic.
We've also got our estate event that we have annually. It's once a year in July.
Yes.
We do that with All Facets Gemological, John Angelo.
Yep.
He is a wonderful human being. And that is I love the event. It's for a weekend, brings in his collection, takes over pretty much our whole store. And we just sell beautiful vintage and estate jewelry for a weekend. And it is
honestly are really tapping into a whole different clientele that we didn't even at first realize that our community had. And really a lot of that clientele is just not your, your average jewelry purchase. They're not our customers maybe most of the year, but very loyal for that, very
They're
into
our
that vintage
customer.
and estate.
That weekend, they are our customer.
Yeah.
That is for sure.
Well, you again, you did so. You have done something that is not too commonly heard these days. Is open up a new jewelry store without getting past with dad's store or help from you guys did something that's pretty unusual these days, and congratulations. You have sounds like you're having some great success. And what would you say to somebody that asked and said, I'm thinking about opening my own jewelry store? What would you tell them?
Well, I would, when we talked to a couple of dear friends before we opened our store, and they didn't give us the most positive advice. They did not. But we were headstrong in that this is what we were going to do. The biggest thing I would tell someone who is getting into this industry, stay agile. Don't be afraid to try something, and just try to think things 2 and 3 steps ahead, and make sure when you are doing something, it's multi-purpose. It has multiple functions to it. Those are things that the advice that I would give if someone were looking to open a store today.
Yeah. And I would say that at least for us and the way that I see it is that the threshold to open a new jewelry store seems very, very large. I think it just seems very intimidating, but if you just take it in steps, next thing you know, you'll have crossed it and you'll have done it. And so I would say, do it. Number one, do it. You can do it. And, that, as long as you, just like Chase said, as long as you're willing to really learn and grow and remain really open and work hard, you will execute it so beautifully, with a lot of bumps along the way, but that's part of the fun. You get to look back at all that crazy stuff. And yeah.
You just have to be willing to learn, and you have to keep an open mind. Even, that's one of the things I think our industry, even in the older stores, they need to remember is you have to always, you're ever changing. You cannot stay stagnant in what you're doing. If it worked 20 years ago, well, it worked 20 years ago. It may not work now, and you just have to keep an open mind about it. There are things, even in our store, we've only been open 3 years. I'm like, oh, you remember we did this, a year ago. And, Brooke will tell me like, it kind of worked because we were during the COVID time when we had to wear masks and things like that. It may not work now. So even for us being as new as we are, we still have to remain open-minded and agile.
Yeah. And the other thing I would say too, is just to a new store, because we didn't fully realize this at first, is this is an incredible thing about our industry, is that there's so many different avenues for revenue. There's a lot of businesses out there that there's, your main, money making stream. And then maybe you have kind of like, well, I could add this, and that's kind of another revenue stream. But, gosh, in our industry, for us retailers, there's so many, so many, limitless, really. Yeah. I mean, gold buying and, engraving. Right. And I mean, there's just so many, which is awesome.
Sure.
Right. So
this your story and what you're saying brings up my favorite quote. My favorite quote ever. When I was 16, I saw this, and it's still unknown, like the person that said this. But the quote is, "Those who are afraid of the thorns will never be able to pick the roses." And there's starting a new business like you guys have done, and going through the highs and lows. There's so many thorns, but there is that beautiful rose at the end. And you're far from the end, obviously. You're just getting started, but
yes,
yes.
It's funny that you say you have a quote, favorite quote. Mine, business is not finite. It's not like baseball. There's not 9 innings. There's not 4 quarters in basketball or football. This is all about how do you continue to perpetuate your business? How do you keep the wheel moving forward? so it's, the story is never finished when you're, in business for yourself, and especially, as a retailer, it just never stops, and you're ever on this wheel, and you just have to almost fall in love with being on the wheel, and you're just constantly in motion.
Yep. Do you guys have any, do you draw inspiration and motivation from other sources outside of the jewelry industry? You have books or, other things. You mentioned networking events, but is there, for other business owners, not even just jewelers, do you recommend anything?
If you need some motivation, Eric Thomas, that's a motivational guy.
Is that?
Appreciate him a lot.
We're obsessed with we love music in general, but we're obsessed with Zach Bryan. We're going to see him in concert next week, actually. Yep. So in all seriousness, we get a lot of motivation from him, his lyrics, his music. Yep. I am really into reading books right now by Chip and Dan Heath. They're super practical, super motivational, and you can apply those things immediately once you read them. So I would say read some of that stuff.
Their book, The Power of Moments, is actually perfect for our industry.
Oh yeah, oh my gosh. I mean,
every single retailer and even vendor, wholesale, I don't care how you are involved in this industry, you need to read that book. Yeah. Heck, even if you only read the first half of the book, first 20 pages, it will make an impact. Yeah. And how we turn something so mundane, like picking up a repair. How do you make that an impactful moment and a memorable moment?
Yes.
Definitely worth the read. It may take a couple days, but it's good.
Yes. And a lot of caffeine. That's what motivates us. A lot of Starbucks. I'm currently drinking.
That's great. That's great. Where's what's the path? What's the journey from here? What are you guys looking to do? Or is there anything in mind?
Man. You want me to dream?
Lord, Chase talked to you about this for days. He could go on about the dreams and the goals.
Ultimately, we definitely want to open at least one more store, and potentially more from there. But I think the second one will be a big step. At a certain point, we definitely would like to have a trade shop within one of our stores, and potentially a casting house as well. The ultimate goal would, to be 4 or 5 stores and have a centralized casting house as well as a trade shop. That would really be the goal.
That's awesome. Yeah. I love that.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I see you.
It can happen.
Yep, absolutely. And we look forward to, Lisa looks forward to writing that and getting that published in Southern Jewelry News. And maybe in a year.
We want to know you're on your 5th one.
We're putting a timeline.
Well, I'm looking forward to doing a story in the future.
Absolutely.
About little Lincoln.
Absolutely.
Oh,
yes.
Lincoln is Brooke and Chase's 4-year-old son, and he is absolutely adorable. And and according to the story, he loves to tell people that he has a jewelry store.
He loves it.
And he really put us out at Christmas time. He said, I'm going to get you something from my daddy and Brookie's jewelry store. I'm going to get you this. They'll get you that.
He was telling all of our family members and friends that. We were like, whoa.
Oh, man. And we've had Brooke and I have had the conversation about, will he or won't he be involved in our business? And, we say, if this is something he decides he wants to do, we'll support it 100%. If he decides this isn't for him, then that's totally fine as well. We're really, we're building this for our family and things like that, but we're really building it for us. I mean, this is what our passion is. We can't expect, I think family business, sometimes parents will expect their children to want to do what they do. And we just don't have that expectation for him.
We hope so.
We hope.
We hope. But we want him to do whatever he is as passionate about that we are about this, and if it's this, that's awesome. And if not, that's okay.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right now it is that he wants to be a policeman and a fireman.
No astronaut.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, he sure is cute. And you should use him in some of your marketing because he's adorable.
Yep.
Because he has a jewelry store. I have a jewelry store.
Yeah. Definitely. What's it mean to you?
Yeah, so that's great.
To be business owners and to teach him about business creating. Is there anything that like really hits home about that and being business owners and parents at the same time?
It does. I think this is another book that I've read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. It's a very good book. It'll open your eyes, especially as a parent. When you have a job and you're getting a paycheck, it comes, right? You help generate it. But when you're a business owner, you make the check. You create that. You create your income. So I think him seeing that, especially as he gets older, will give him some insight of, man, like, they are awesome. Like, they were able to create this. They turned this space that used to be a frozen yogurt shop into a business that has generated financial means for me to go to school, college, all of these things. And they were able to do that together. And I think that will show him especially a true sense of value of money, time, energy, effort. I mean, I think it'll just give him a complete different perspective of life. He'll grow up in it.
Yeah.
He was 2020. He was 2 years old when we opened our store, so he doesn't know any different.
Right.
Yeah. And I hope that we are able to really teach him about, risk and taking the risks that are important in life to take, that it's easy to say no to. And especially about how you can do those when you have the family and friend and support system, backing you, that we're super blessed to have.
I want to point out something, because you mentioned that obviously you're doing it for him and your family, but you're doing it for yourself. It's your passion. And I think that's really important. I also have one of my favorite books is Start With Why by Simon Sinek. Start With Why is a great book. And a lot of people have that why is, their kids, their family, and, taking care of them. But you said something really important that I think a lot of business owners, families should identify or realize is it's your own dreams, your goals.
Right.
And thank God it's also putting a positive effect on Lincoln and your son and your family, but you're doing something for yourself that you want to do and achieve. And so congratulations, really, you guys. It looks like things are going well so far. And it really looks like you guys got a great future, and there's probably some more articles and more things going to be featuring you guys about the 5-store chain and all the things that you've built in the future. So this is really amazing. I'm certainly happy to have you here. So
we wish you
thank you so much for having us.
The best continued success. And yes, we'll be following you. And I would love one day to little interview Lincoln and talk to him about, so remember when we did that podcast with your parents? You really, it could happen. So never give up on your dream.
She's looking for that offer. Lincoln's going to say, "Oh, my mommy's going to give you something from the jewelry center."
That's right. And and I guess, will you guys be heading to the Atlanta Jewelry Show in August? I'm sure you go to all the IJO buying. Where's IJO this in July, right?
Cleveland. Yep, heading to Cleveland. Chase is psyched about Cleveland.
I'm really excited about Cleveland.
So
Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not even about
that's that. Not even what he's excited about.
I love your secondary city. Any city that's not like the main city of that state, I just love them. They have a special place in my heart. I guess.
That's cool. And then will you be heading to Atlanta in August, I hope?
So Chase
I should be there.
Yes, okay. This is my first Atlanta Jewelry Show since we have opened that I will not be at. But it's my girlfriends and I, we do a trip once a year, and we're going to see Nickelback. So we're pumped about that.
There you go.
Nickelback. Chase thinks it's hilarious. They get a bad rap, man. They get a bad rap. But we're
I think they're the greatest thing to ever come out of Canada, except for Ryan Reynolds, I think.
I don't know. Yeah.
Amazing.
So I will not be there, but Chase will be. So I'll be back in the spring.
Okay. We'll be looking for you.
We love the Atlanta Jewelry Show.
Yeah. I'm sure. Well, Elisa and I are definitely looking forward to catching up with you guys somewhere, Atlanta, anywhere. But after seeing the article and I'm sure hearing from you guys through this podcast, a lot of people are really going to be, you're going to love your story and catch up with you. How do people find you? Let's make sure everybody knows that. What's your email, phone number, website, all of the details? How do they get in touch?
Yeah, anybody, please reach out to us with any thoughts, ideas, want to collaborate. So email is Brooke, BROOKE at edandethels.com. That's all written out. Of course, we're on Facebook, Ed and Ethel's Fine Jewelry, and phone number. And you can text us, as we said, shout out Client Book again. It's 540-382-8673.
Fantastic. Amazing. Really appreciate you joining and telling your story. It's been an amazing story so far. Got any more questions, Elisa?
I don't. I just want to thank you both. I know you both run a jewelry store, and to just take an extra 40 minutes out of your day to talk to us, we couldn't be more thankful. No, we really couldn't. Yeah. So continued success. We'll be following you, and keep us in the loop of anything exciting you're doing and what you're hearing out there.
All right.
Awesome. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks for listening. Tune in to the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry podcast. Obviously, check out Southern Jewelry News and Mid-America Jewelry News. Check out edandethels.com and Brooke and Chase over there. I got this other company. Check us out. But anyway, thanks, everyone. Thank you. Thanks, guys. And have a great day. Thanks for listening to the Pearls of Wisdom Jewelry Podcast. For more information about the show, please visit southernjewelrynews.com/podcast, brought to you by Southern Jewelry News and Jewelry Store Marketers. Make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform so you can catch the next show. See you then.